looking ahead, broadly speaking, if you had to make a list, what are your biggest priorities? The dust is settling. The financial crisis is, we hope, touch wood, coming to an end, though nobody really knows. But certainly if the bank's dust is settled, what are your big priorities in terms of where you're investing this money?
I think a few things. So one part, which is relatively easily, we are going to expand our geographic footprint, and that's always an expensive proposition. So that's a fairly good consumer of expense. We are going to build some new core platforms for the work that we do, which will accelerate our ability to enter new markets faster. It will also decrease our running cost for new markets and let us get into smaller markets more profitably. And so that's a key area of investment. So our core banking platform investment, that's a big one. The other thing is, I talked about how there's increased sophistication from multinationals, but even from smaller corporates, about how they look at their banking relationships in a more holistic sense. And so we are finding that we need to also face off to corporates with a more integrated approach. So the hard and fast lines between what is cash, what is trade, what is liquidity, those are getting to be increasingly less important. And what that means is that it demands a higher level of integration in the products that we deliver. As a financial journalist, you'll be very skeptical of anybody talking about solutions, and
highly.
And that's a word everybody hates to hear.
Words.
One of those words, like innovation. but the reality is that it really is true that packaging things together in solutions that bundle product capability rather than flogging individual components, that's something we've been focusing on for years. But the intensity with which we're focusing on it, and the intensity with which
what people want.
It's what people want. It's what people need. It's what they demand. And so, it costs money and takes intellectual capital to figure out how to pull things together in a way that's logical and usable to clients. The last thing I would say, maybe a funny comment, but I would say probably our biggest focus of investment is in brain damage reduction. And what I mean by that is, doing business with large banks is historically not an easy thing. Deutsche Bank has focused really hard on that for a couple of years. We're going to focus even more intensely. So what that means is everything from the legal documentation that we give clients to how we bundle things together on our electronic banking portals to how we price multi-product buys. All of those things are pieces that we're trying to intensely focus on from the client perspective, and with our clients getting feedback on how we can do things to make their lives easier, and take away anybody's objections about doing business with us because I think it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, sure.
So brain damage reduction is fundamental.
In terms of innovation, Dan, what will differentiate the winners from the losers?
Look, I think banks that are able to do two things. The first is, we talked a bit about this whole RTB, CTB thing. I think those banks which have the guts to attack the legacy and extract the ability to spend on new developments by sharpening up how they manage their historical business, getting rid of expensive legacy lumbering systems, getting rid of redundancy, having those tough conversations internally, and sometimes tough conversations with clients even about turning off systems which are only used by a minority group. That's a great way to free up money to spend. And I think institutions that are focused on that strategically from the top of the house, they'll be able to free up enough funding for innovation, and they'll be able to accelerate.
Dan Marowitz, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.